Welcome back everyone. Yet again, I've taken my sweet time with the new Samsung Galaxy tablet, and today I'm ready to give you my full review on the new, affordable 2022 Samsung Galaxy Tab A8. We'll cover everything from the 10.5-inch display to its battery life, performance in everyday tasks, package contents. We'll even get into what the tech enthusiasts want to hear, like benchmarks of course. Throughout this video, you'll find the conclusion as to who I recommend this to. I only upload videos when I truly have a contribution and opinion worth sharing. Now I put this tablet through its paces over the course of a month. Let's start with the Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 basics. This tablet has the micro SD card slot, face-registered unlock feature, an octa-core processor, and a beautiful design with great build materials. It's mostly aluminum, except for the buttons and a thin band of plastic along the top. Those buttons, when clicked, are nicely audible and tactile. The tablet charges through USB-C, and thankfully, we still have the headphone jack too. As for package contents, the Tab A8 has all the basics covered, like the USB-C cable, standard wall adapter, SIM tool, and the paperwork. The one simple thing Samsung could have done to exceed expectations would be to include a fast charger. We only have the standard wall adapter, which is fine, but this tablet does support 15-watt charging. I buy these devices with my own money to make a real review for you. If I were to have gotten the Tab A8 as a gift, I would have certainly expected it to cost more than it does, and while the included accessories did not impress me, the build materials, the quad speakers, and the battery life did. The battery is 7,040 mAh, not a lot of capacity on paper, but here you get to see the full battery readout. The Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 comfortably lasts me through a full day of my use, and I play games, watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I take calls, well, video calls, with a lot of my friends and colleagues. Some sacrifices have been made to make the tablet's battery life last this long, and we'll dive into that deeper in just a bit, but for now, let's enjoy the revised aesthetics and this beautiful design. The previous model, Tab A7, had a very similar design, and I gave Samsung credit for using premium materials on that too. The camera lens is now circular, the edges of the tablet have been made more flat, and the new Tab A8 is slightly heavier. Protecting the display, we have Corning's Gorilla Glass. Currently, this tablet is running Android 11, but the Android 12 update is confirmed, and it's going to be coming any week now. By the way, for those of you curious, my Samsung Galaxy A52 smartphone already got the Android 12 update with One UI 4, and side note, I'm also testing out the Galaxy A13, so expect a video on the channel and stay tuned for that. There's a few models of the Tab A8. The connectivity options are Wi-Fi only, like the one I have, and LTE. Back when I bought the tablet, I just took the only model that was available, 3 gigs of RAM and only 32 gigabytes of storage. Yikes. Now there's a new 128 gigabyte storage capacity model added in addition to the 64 gigabyte version. It sure is nice to see another storage model added for the people who really want to use a lot of different apps. Speaking of apps, I know a lot of you were curious if you can move applications onto the micro SD card with the Tab A8. Well, I have some very good news for you. Yes, that is possible, and it's actually very easy to do. Open up the settings menu, click on apps, and let's move Asphalt 9 for example. This is one big game file. So here the storage option can be changed to the micro SD card, and I'm using the 128GB SanDisk Extreme Pro micro SD, in case you were wondering. The reason I recommend people to go for the 64GB version of Tab A8 is because the micro SD card speeds are not as fast as the eMMC 5.1, which is the internal speeds of the Tab A8. So basically any micro SD card you can get is not as fast as the internal speeds. If you're still watching, leave a like on the video, and if you actually enjoy the way I make these reviews, let me know in the comments. Getting back to the different models of the Tab A8, well, there's also a 4GB RAM variant, and like I said, I do not have that one, but my experiences with only 3GB of RAM should tell you something about just how good these budget tablets have gotten at managing multitasking. RAM is an area where I thought that it may be lacking. After all, Samsung's Edge panel feature makes it really enticing to drag 2 apps into view at once, and I mean, this Edge panel feature used to be annoying to me, but now after using this tablet for over a month, I've grown really accustomed to having it there. I found the experience to be pleasant here, and I have nothing negative to say about the fact that it only has 3 gigs of RAM. This is all relative to the price, and for the amount of money I paid, I'm happy. The 12nm Unisoc Tiger processor inside the Tab A8 is paired with the Mali G52 for graphics. Now, let's talk about the overall daily performance of this tablet, how my experiences have been like in the past month, and also we're going to talk about gaming. The Tab A8 really shined in PUBG and Asphalt 9. In PUBG, for instance, I was able to play HD settings at high frame rates, and there wasn't a single frame drop or stutter. I won every single PUBG match that I played. Interestingly, the same cannot be said about Call of Duty Mobile, a game that I'm actually good at. In COD Mobile, even after downloading the HD resolution game files, I was limited to low resolution. Not only low res, but medium frame rates, which is enough to make me frustrated since the Tab A7 could do much higher resolution and higher frame rates in this particular game. I tried a lot of different games on this tablet, and there's no issues with overheating in my experience, but I do have this one particular complaint about this game. The Geekbench test showed that the Tab A8 is no stunner in terms of benchmarks. I used to put a lot of merit in these numbers, but over time, I learned that it is not the best telltale as to how well a chipset can perform over time, so don't be discouraged based on these numbers. When I got this tablet, the initial setup process was painful. I had a lot of app crashes caused by the Google Play Store, downloading and installing apps. Now, once that was out of the way and fully installed, the app crashing ceased, and the only real problem I had day to day with the speed and the input was changing of the vertical and horizontal orientation. Not a deal breaker. One adjustment that I do make to these budget to mid-range devices before I really take my full analysis on the device is to go into developer options. I manually scale down the window and transition animation scale to a 0.5, as I usually do on phones, but I really recommend you do it here. You can enable the developer options menu by tapping the build number a bunch of times in the settings. This helped tremendously with how fast the tablet feels. By the way, the developer options menu is also a good place to see your device RAM usage, since the device care menu inside of settings is not always fully accurate. I have good news about the lack of bloatware on this device. Those pre-installed apps are optional in most regions, and in places where the device already comes with some bloatware installed, they are removable. On a whole other note, since the tablet uses the USB-C port for charging, you can also use that connection for peripherals like a USB-C hub, a flash drive, or even an SSD. But just like all the other cool features I mentioned about the Tab A8, this has its limitations, as we cannot connect an external monitor. For unlock methods, there is the face registered unlock, which is my favorite because it's quite fast on this device and basically all other Samsung devices after recent updates. But we also have the pin, pattern, or passcode options, so if you don't want to scan your face into your device, you don't have to. The front 5-megapixel lens does video at 1080p, good enough for video calling, but not much beyond that. I wouldn't take any more selfies on this camera. The rear 8-megapixel lens also does video at 1080p, 30 frames per second, and honestly, it's not any better than the Tab A7 was. Photos taken on the rear camera are usable. Now, the amount of detail captured, even though it's an 8-megapixel lens, it's still not impressive, but it works. What I imagine a lot of people will be complaining about is the lack of an S Pen support and no DeX mode either. Just like the previous Galaxy Tab A devices, this is not meant to be a desktop replacement the same way that the Tab S series is. It's also not meant for artists either. I suppose you could use a capacitive stylus the same way you would with any other touchscreen device, but for precision and artistry, I will always recommend the iPads, and if you really want to have a Samsung device, go for the Tab S series. The Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 has a very big display at 10.5 inches. Now, Samsung usually has good colors, viewing angles, and brightness with their TFT displays, like this one, but that is not the case here, and they have missed the mark in my opinion. Samsung missed the mark with the display's pixel density in my opinion too. It should have been higher considering the Tab A7 was 224 pixels per inch, and this is 216, so we literally have 8 less pixels per inch. The display pixel density really is underwhelming in my opinion. Now, combining this with the fact that it has a less power consuming chipset, it really means that Samsung had the goal of making this battery last a lot longer for the average consumer. It's up to you if this is not your cup of tea, but in my opinion, they over-prioritized the battery life and under-delivered on the display. It is worth mentioning that the Tab A8 is coming out at a cheaper price than the A7 did back in 2020. Now, factoring in global chip shortages from the American and Taiwanese companies like Qualcomm and MediaTek, and we start to see how this is an appropriate successor to the Tab A7, it's just not for everyone. The Tab A7 had a Qualcomm processor, and that is still very much a good purchase in 2022. If you haven't seen my review on that tablet, I highly recommend giving that video a glance. Samsung has not improved every aspect of this device when comparing it to the predecessor. Instead, they've tried to make it more appealing for the average person who demands a long screen on time. It is very reliable in terms of the battery life and in terms of the software support. I'm expecting around 2 years of software support with the Tab A8. In my opinion, if you currently own a Samsung Galaxy tablet from 2018 and beyond, then this is not going to be a good upgrade for you. Now, for users of older iPads, this would still be a very good purchase. I got this tablet early on, like really early on, but I had to pay a very large fee for facilitating that transaction and getting it before the international retailers, long before the Samsung stores, especially in Canada. So paying that fee and making this justifiable is really because of people like you subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate every single one of you who are subscribed. There are definitely times where my favorite tech brands and favorite tech companies don't come out with anything innovative. And in that time, I'm not going to force any content on you because it wouldn't really be interesting if I wasn't interested in the product. So I gotta say, right now, Samsung and other brands are coming out with a lot of cool stuff. So February is gonna be a big month for my channel. I don't know how big, but I know you're gonna see me again tomorrow. So I'm very excited for that. That's all for today, my friends. Talk to you soon.